Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is Brittany Bennett. So, Brittany, I want to welcome you to the show. And would you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Brittany Bennett. I'm 15 years old. I live in Augusta, Michigan, and I drive a front-wheel drive DOT car. I have one dog, and I also do show jumping with horses. So,
Uh, So, you like all kinds of horsepower,
yeah.
cars and horses. All right. And do you have any brothers or sisters?
No.
Nope. You're an only child. Okay. Awesome. So, Brittany, you live in Augusta, Michigan. You're not very far from me. I live in Kalamazoo, so we probably only live about 15, 20 minutes away from each other. But how did you get interested in motorsports?
So basically, before I was born, my dad raced vintage modifieds, helped, did all the above. He's been in this for 32 years.
Okay.
When I was younger, I wanted to do like the mini tracks at like Kalamazoo and Galesburg, but I'm 6 foot tall, so that didn't really work out for me very well.
No.
And so I was like, I want to get in a car. I want to get in a car. I want to get a car. And so my whole entire life, I've helped my dad on limited late models, outlaw late models. We've crew chief Zach Cook, Brandon Lyons,
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Sexton a little bit. So I was like, I want to get in a car. So in 2023, I raced a little bit at the end of the year with someone else owning my car at Mottville. And
Okay.
then my dad bought my car. And last year, we changed it. So now it's a white 1B. And I raced Kalamazoo and Galesburg and
Okay.
M40 once.
Okay.
So I was like, I want to get a faster car. This car's slow. It doesn't do good on restarts. Me and my dad had issues. We didn't agree with each other. He wanted to try things. I didn't agree with him. So we ended up. I ended up doing not very good in a heat race, and he was like, I was thinking about buying you a car, but now I'm not going to. And then the next week, I actually won my heat race, and he was like, okay, now I'm gonna buy you that car. So we almost went all the way to Wisconsin and got me another car, which we're currently still working on.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping to drive that this year.
Okay. And that's going to be in the front wheel drive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you'll race in Kalamazoo on Friday and Galesburg on Saturday?
Yeah, and I'm hoping maybe to go out of reach like Owasso, M40, some of the bigger tracks too.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be fun for you if you could do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite thing about motorsports?
Probably that it's like one big family. We all are friends. We all have our ups and downs. We all get into our little bigger arguments. We're all like one big family, one big team. We help each other out.
Yeah.
I remember last season, AJ Foot was driving the late model, and he came in the pits, and I chucked the duct tape a pit and a half away to my dad, so we could duct tape the car back together to try to get him back out there.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get him back out there, but it's just like one big family. We all help each other. People come over to me, giving me tips and advice all the time.
Yeah. So, is your dad still racing, Brittany?
No, he quit when I was born, but ever since I was a kid, my one dream was to get him to be able to like watch him race. So
Uh-huh.
luckily last year I had some personal issues where I couldn't race, and so I got to see him race at Kalamazoo a couple times, where he actually did almost one championship night.
Oh. And what's his first name?
Nate.
Nate Bennett. Okay. I'm going to write that down so I remember. So, that's pretty cool that he was able to drive your car. That's fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a very good experience, and he always would be hard on me about how I'm not pushing the cars hard enough. And then he got in my car I was like, then you race it and you show me that I'm not pushing it. He got in my car one week and was like, drove it and did decent. And then he got out of the car and said, "I realize not to be so hard on you because this car doesn't go."
Yeah. Good for you to have him do that, because it's a lot easier when you're standing outside the car to think you know what's happening rather than when you're inside the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can remember one time, my granddaughters raced McKenna and Madison Snyder. And I can remember one time McKenna came in from practice or something, and Bob was in her face about whatever, and she started to cry, and I said, "Oh no, Bob, when this stops being fun, we're not doing this anymore." And he says, "I know, I just know she can do better." And that's kind of where dads are. They know you can do better, but sometimes they have to get in the car and find out that it's not you, it's the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So you've been racing, this will be your third year, right?
Yeah, my second full year.
Second full year. Yeah. So what's been the hardest thing for you to learn about driving a race car?
Probably like figuring the cars out and learning every week I won't get top 5, top 10. It takes practice and it takes dedication.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have that. I'm very hard on myself. I feel like I if I don't do good, I'm like I beat myself up about it. I'm like I know I could have done better, but it's one more week I learn. And
Yeah.
the more I do this and the more I grow and the more higher classes hopefully I get, the more I'll learn and the more experienced I will become.
Yeah, exactly. So this is something that you're 15 that you're thinking that, you're going to continue to do for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting to get out on the track. Do you get nervous before you go out for a race?
When I first started racing, me and my dad, when I first started racing, we would talk to the track and we would be like, hey, can she come out there a little bit early, get some laps in, figure out the track? She's brand new at this.
Mm-hmm.
Go walk the track, like a track walk. And then I would do some laps and I'd figure out the track. And I remember one time at M40, I was out there all by myself a little bit before, like a half hour before everyone else got there. And I did super good. At the time, the guy that owned my car, he was standing on the other side of 3 and 4. And I decided, let's not let off the gas and scare him. And I almost towed it right then and there. And then I realized, and then in my race, I slowed way down and got really nervous. And
Yeah.
crashing it couldn't finish.
Yeah. It happens,
Yeah.
right? It happens. The one thing that we know about racing is that you're going to lose more than you're going to win.
Yeah, definitely.
And most sports are not like that. but racing is, and we just know that that's how it is. So when you have a bad day at the racetrack and something goes wrong or whatever, how do you react to that?
I normally just like let it go for that night, and then the next week, me and my dad will sit in the barn for a couple hours each day, hey, and just sit there and talk it over and be like, we'll just adjust the car and fix it every week. We'll
Mm.
just make adjustments, talk it over. Sometimes we even do it at like the track. We are just talk it over and we're like, we need to fix this. Like we talk it over and see what I need to fix. We change some things. We improve.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about all you can do. You just have to go back out there, try something different, and hope that it works, and you just keep getting better for sure. So what does the weekend look like then for you? Because it's busy if you're racing Friday and Saturday. So, are you superstitious? Do you wear the same shirt or the same socks? Do you eat the same things? I always go to McDonald's before I go to race, whatever it might be. What's your weekend look like?
So normally, like on Fridays, because of Kalamazoo and like the time to get there and stuff is so early. Normally, my dad picks me up from school about an hour early, and then I come home, get my stuff. We like load a little cooler, lunchbox with like sandwiches and stuff, and then we like load up the car and whatnot, and then we get to the track. And I don't eat when I'm in my race suit while I race. None of that, because I get so overheated that I don't eat.
Hmm.
So it's like, and then after my race, I'll eat like a little bit. But last year I wore the same socks all year long.
Okay.
And then I had a thing where I would wear the same Matt Fraser shirt like every other week. And I didn't wear
Okay.
the Fraser shirt one week, and everyone was like, "What happened to the Matt Fraser shirt?"
And you don't think people notice, but they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's funny. I'm gonna have to get you a Women's Motorsports Network shirt.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll get you one, then you can wear that when you're racing. How'll that be? Yeah,
Good.
yeah, that'd be good. So your dad helps you with the car. Do you work on the car with him? Like
Um,
when it needs help worked on?
so with show jumping and horses and everything, when I was back at my old barn, I would ride every day. So my dad would be here working on the car and whatnot. But since I moved to a different barn, and it's like an hour away for me to ride,
Okay.
I mostly spend my time up in the barn now.
Yeah.
That's my thing this year is I want to be able to work on the car and learn the car more
Okay.
and learn more stuff about the car because
Uh-huh.
I'm so used to the late model stuff where ever since I was little I would crawl underneath the car and start the car and whatnot. But I'm at the point now where I'm in the front wheel drives. It's nothing like the late models. It's a
No.
completely different thing. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
learning, but there's still always more to learn.
right. Right. So Brittany, you've only been racing a couple years, but do you think that being involved in motorsports has helped you or changed you in any way? You're more outgoing, you're more brave, you're more confident. What has it changed you in any way or not yet?
I feel like there's more to change about me in like some aspects of my life, but I feel like it has definitely changed me. I feel like I'm a lot more like I used to be very like what happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? Like I wasn't brave at all. But now like I feel like I'm a lot more brave and like not have any fear of anything.
Mhm.
Like I'll get in a race car and I'll be like, "Oh, just another race." If I crash, I crash. We'll fix it when we get home. If I'm on a horse, I'll be like, and my trainer raises the jumps. I'll be like, "Oh, it's just a couple more holes up. I'll be fine."
Yeah. Yeah. And so racing has helped with the horses and the horses has helped with the racing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And it's funny, you're not the only girl I know that races and then rides horses. That seems to be kind of a popular thing to do. I mean, a lot of girls play soccer, softball, and stuff, but I do hear, or I have talked to girls who have done horses and racing, so that's kind of interesting for sure. So, do you think motorsports is a good sport for girls to be involved in?
Yes, definitely. I do think I know there's not many women or girls in the motorsports part of this like sport, and I think there should be a lot more because like I feel like it's definitely a male dominated sport, and I just personally feel like the girls need to like start outgoing, and I think they're just nervous that they're gonna get stood up by the guys.
Hmm.
The guys will be not as rough on them.
Yeah.
I know me personally, I'm like the guys go at me. Like I don't care. I was raised not to be a fighter. So I feel like if a guy goes at me, I just blow it off. I'm like, okay, cool, it's just a race.
Yeah. Well, and if they realize that they're not going to get to you, that you're not going anywhere and you're going to keep racing hard, then they'll eventually stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll get old for them to be doing that. So, are there any other girls that you race with either at Galesburg or Kalamazoo that you kind of have made friends with, or are you pretty much the only girl?
Um. So I'm kind of like good friends with the Mad Dog racing team.
Mhm.
So like Bree Brady, I'm really good friends with her. I've helped her on. She actually brought her car over a couple weeks ago, and we helped her with her car. So I feel like she's definitely had a good impact on me, and definitely shown me, and gave me a challenge for like another girl to go towards. I'm like, me and her was if we're next to each other in a heat race or something, we'll be like, let's see who can get in front of each other, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll just go at it.
Yeah. But in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not out there to wreck each other, but you're out there to just compete with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you had a role model as far as racing? Is there somebody you've really looked up to, or do you have a favorite driver
Um,
anywhere?
probably not. My role model was probably Bree, but like out of my class, someone I've definitely looked up to, who like racing wise, is like Zach Cook. He went
Hmm.
from street stocks to winning races and late models to like getting rookie of the year,
Hmm.
doing a bunch of things.
Yeah.
I remember when he won his first race, we were actually helping him, and I was on my uncle's trailer, and I jumped into my dad's arms from the top of the trailer
Hmm.
just to get out there and let.
Yeah. Because that's so exciting, isn't it? And I mean, it's fun to win yourself. Obviously you want to win, but it's almost as much fun when you've got somebody like that you're close with or you're helping. That when they win, it's just as exciting, almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like family, and you want them to do well too. Yeah. So, do you have any little girls like at autograph night? Do you ever have any little girls that come up to you, or little boys too, come up to you and want to sit in your car or anything?
Um, I know autograph night at M40. This lady was doing photography, and her niece was with her, or her granddaughter was with her, and she couldn't believe that there was a female driver out there on the track. So actually, after I got done racing, I went down to the lower pits at M40, and went up to them, and I was like, if she wants to sit in my car and take a picture of my car, she can. And so
Yeah.
she up and took a picture and sat in my car, started my car for her, and she thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
also little boys come up to like little boys with their parents like come up to me and be like didn't weren't believing that I was a race car driver because I'm a girl, and I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm a race car driver.
Yeah. Yeah, Maddie kind of, and McKenna too. They had kind of the same thing. They had some little girls, but they also had some little boys that wanted to see. Hey, that's the girl that drives, and so it's kind of fun to see that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, what's been the best advice that somebody's given you?
Probably not to be scared of my car. I used to not like full force my car and like be scared I'm gonna hit the wall and like be scared I'm gonna crash.
Hmm.
And my dad's always told me, don't be scared of the car. Like it's a car. Like the worst that's gonna happen is you're gonna crash.
Yeah.
So I just like put my like foot to the floor and just pray. And
Yeah.
if I crash, I crash. The wall's there to stop me.
Yeah. Yeah, and really, you've got a lot of good safety equipment on. I mean, not that you can't get hurt. We know that can happen, but the chances of you getting hurt are not that good, really. Probably more chance of you driving down the street in a car than on the racetrack. And so that's good advice. Good advice from your dad. So is your mom involved with your racing at all?
Not really. Um,
Okay.
my parents actually have been split for 4 years.
Okay.
So, she doesn't really approve of the racing as
Okay.
because she's never really approved of it my entire life.
Yeah.
So she like will come and watch me every once in a while, or like practices and stuff.
Okay.
Doesn't really involve in with the racing though.
So that's something you and your dad do together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool though that you and him have something that you do together, and something that you love to do together. So, do you have a favorite memory? Could be something good that happened, could be something bad that happened.
I actually have like two. When I got when I got my Dare to Be Different trophy at Yale's or Kalamazoo. I was actually up in the stands talking to some like friends of mine that were there, and my dad had called me and was like, "Come down to the pits. There's some people that want to come like meet you." And so I walked down there, and I seen this I was like, there was just all these people standing by my car. So like they introduced themselves to me, and they pulled out the big trophy with the plaque, and I got like was starting to get emotional, and they're like, "Don't cry," and then they're like, "Your dad told us it's your first ever actual like real race," and so the next thing I know, they pulled out $200, and I was
Oh,
crying, and they're like, "Don't cry."
that's really nice. So is that the trophy that's behind you?
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, that's a really big trophy.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and then I got Rookie of the Year in top 10 and my first win at Galesburg.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Because you're racing against a lot of guys that have raced for a long time.
Yeah, people
So yeah, that's
like, how old are the people that you race against? Like, are they in your age? I'm like, no, I race against people that are like twice my age. Like, they've been doing this way longer than I have.
they were doing it before you were born.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one thing too that a lot of kids, kids you go to school with don't understand is that you're not there racing against other 15-year-old girls. You're racing against 50-year-old men.
yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get very much reaction at your school about racing?
Um, People just think it's really easy, and I'm like, it's not as easy as it looks. I used to think
Mhm.
it was easier than it looked when I was younger. In the stands, you actually have to be down in the pits, in the car, listening to the driver and the crew chief to understand how hard it is. It's not as easy as it looks. And like I always have to explain to people like there's a lot of like dangerous things that could happen.
Yeah.
I've watched cars blow up, flip over, people get dragged out of the race cars and the ambulances. Like,
Mhm.
and then some people will be like, "Do you really drive a?" Like my teachers will be like, "No way, you drive a race car."
So
So
how do you answer that?
I'm like, I'm on my computer. Actually, I have my backgrounds are my race car.
Yeah.
I actually will like pull out my phone or pull out my computer and be like, "Yeah, I drive my race car. Like this is my race car."
Yeah. Yeah. And Galesburg and Augusta are small enough that it doesn't take long for people to know and figure out that you drive a race car.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you use social media? How could we find you and follow you on social media, and how do you use it? Do you post where you're going to go, or do you post pictures after you've been there? What do you do?
So really this year, like I didn't really use social media last year that much with the racing and stuff. I got more involved with I think over like the off season with the like social media. So like on TikTok, which is Brittany 1B, I'll post a bunch of varieties of different things, horses, myself, racing. And then on Instagram, Brittany Bennett 1B, I mostly post horse stuff, but I'm gonna start getting more involved with the Instagram with the race.
Yeah. Yeah, and I people love or hate TikTok, whatever, but I think TikTok is one of the best platforms for races because you
Yeah,
can just do short little pieces of your races and they're fun to watch. And so I'm all about TikTok and using it for racing. So and then are you on Facebook at all, Brittany?
no.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what are you looking forward to the most about this season?
Um, Probably just learning with car and with all the new sponsorships I have this year and like the trust that I'll gain with the new car and hopefully a bunch more wins.
So do you want to share about your sponsors?
Yeah. So actually this year and last year I've had Certasite, and then this year and last year I had SNF Propane, and then last year I had Independent Automotive and Performance, and then my new ones this year is Petro Plumbing and Cooling,
Oh, yeah.
and a Gull Lake docking service. I don't know the name off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. Those are all good ones right there, local, and so they get a lot of good exposure from you being out on the track. Being a girl, sometimes you get more exposure, and local businesses. So that's great. I'm glad to hear that they're supporting you for sure. So, do you have any goals for this year?
Um, Probably to just like improve more and learn more and maybe win. Like, I'm not planning on winning every race I get into, but maybe getting top 5, top 10, maybe winning a couple this year would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. So you're another year older, you're little taller, you're a little stronger, and you're ready to go for the racing. So now, Brittany, do you play basketball or anything?
No, my parents have always tried to get me to play basketball and volleyball, and I'm like, no, I don't really know.
Yeah, because you're so tall, I bet you'd be good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share about yourself or your racing or anything at all?
No, I just want to thank like everyone that supported me through like this, like all my journeys and stuff. My two best friends, Sabrina Beebe and Bridget
Uh-huh.
Wolf. I don't know what I would do without them. Like they are by my side for all of it. Like
Yeah.
I'll get out. I remember my first win. I got in my car and went to the stands at Galesburg, and I went to Sabrina, and I was like, I can't believe I just did that. And we ran to each other and gave each other the biggest hug.
Yeah. I'm sure she's a good supporter because she knows about racing. Yeah. That's fun. That's the fun part, isn't it? It's not just the winning and the driving the car. It's the friends that you make and how you can share a passion you have with other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Brittany, I don't have any other questions for you unless you have something else that you want to share.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I want to wish you good luck. I'm sure I'll see you at the track this year because that's the two tracks I go to the most. And I'm sure I'll be there watching. So if I get a chance, I'll come down in the pits and say hello so we can meet each other face to face.
Okay, that'd be great, and thank
All
you.
right. That sounds good. Well, you hang on while I stop the recording.